Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joycey Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about the report on death penalty in India. Coming to the current affair, the number of death sentences awarded by the trial courts in India has seen a sharp increase in the year 2018, and this is according to the Report on Death Penalty in India Annual Statistics Report of 2018, which was prepared by the National Law University, New Delhi. So, according to this report, in 2018, the number of death penalties awarded by the trial courts in India has seen a sharp rise, and this is the highest since 2000. So, in this context, we will see what is the status of death penalties in India and what are the highlights of the report. If you are preparing for any competitive examination, StudyIQ is providing pen drive courses for various competitive exams like the SSC, bank exams, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, various teaching courses, railway examinations, defense examinations, RBI grade B examination, NABARD grade A examination, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, law examinations including CLAT exams, various state PSCs, and also for various professional courses. For more details, you can log on to our website www.studyiq.com, or you can make a call to any of these numbers for more details. Now moving on to the highlights of the report. So as we have discussed in the beginning, the report is named as Death Penalty in India Annual Statistics Report 2018, and this is prepared by the National Law University in New Delhi. Now the first highlight of the report, it is regarding the number of death sentences that was awarded by the trial courts in the year 2018. So according to the report, 162 death sentences were awarded by various trial courts in the country in the year 2018. So what makes this number significant? This is because this is the highest number in a calendar year since 2000. So since 2000, this 162 is the highest number of death penalties awarded by trial courts in India, and this was in the year 2018. Now, if we compare this number with the previous year, that is in 2017, so the capital punishment awarded in 2017 amounted to 108 persons. So we will see that there is almost a 50% hike in the number of death sentences awarded in 2018 compared to 2017. So this growth percentage is very significant, and this is a huge number. So that is why it is very important. Now the second highlight of the report says that awarding death sentences in the country were not uniform throughout the states. So this 162 numbers were not equally or uniformly distributed among various states, but in some states the number was 0, in some states the number was very high. So if we take into some examples, no death sentence were awarded or pronounced in 8 states. So these 8 states are Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, J&K, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. So if we look into these 8 states, we will see that most of the states are from the northeastern part of the country, and another state is Jammu and Kashmir, then Goa. So here we will see that the northeastern states have performed better with regard to awarding death sentences. So a majority of the states in this 8 states which has not awarded any death sentence are from the northeastern part. And coming to commutation by the Supreme Court, in the last year, that is in 2018, the Supreme Court commuted the death sentences to life imprisonment in 11 cases out of the 12 cases it heard. So commutation means that reducing the intensity of the punishment. So from capital punishment, it was reduced to life imprisonment. So out of the 12 cases that came to the Supreme Court, for 11 cases it had reduced the punishment or commuted the punishment. And which is the 12th case? The 12th case is the Delhi gang rape case, and the Supreme Court in this case upheld the sentence for 3 persons who were convicted in the December 2016 Delhi gang rape case. So except for this case, in 11 cases Supreme Court has commuted the sentences. Now coming to the number of people on the death row in India, as of December 2018 stands at 426. So comparing this number with the last year, that is 2017 December, it was 366, and in 2016 December it was 400. So in 2018 December it is 426, which is a large number. Now let us analyze what are the reasons for the increase in the number of death sentences in the trial courts in the country. So primarily we will see that the main reason for this increase in the number of death sentences is the result of recent legislative intervention. So legislative intervention here means that various acts or bills that were passed by the parliament. So legislature is the parliament, which is the law making body in the country. So the parliament had interfered or intervened in many legal cases recently in the form of bills and acts, and that was the primary reason for this increase in the number of death sentences. So if we look at some of the parliament or legislative interventions, first of all, it extended capital punishment to non-homicide crimes. So homicide crimes means murder. So earlier death sentences were awarded only in case of homicide or murder. Now the scope of capital punishment has been extended to non-homicide crimes, that means crimes that are not murders. So now the scope has been expanded. So that is one reason. And secondly, the Parliament has amended the Indian Penal Code IPC in order to provide for death sentences as a punishment in case of rape or gang rape of girls below the age of 12. So IPC was amended recently, and this is one major reason why the number of death sentences has increased very significantly. So the main reason is that now stricter law has been in place for child rape or gang rape, and this is the main reason why the number of death sentences have increased in various trial courts in the country. Now let us come to a specific case study, that is the case of Madhya Pradesh state government. So various states invoked the IPC amendment, and Madhya Pradesh was one state which had already invoked this IPC amendment that was made by the Parliament, and the state of Madhya Pradesh, after amendment in the IPC, witnessed the highest number of cases involving child sexual harassment or assault. So obviously it means that this has resulted into a increase in the number of death penalty awarded by the trial courts in Madhya Pradesh. So as a result of this, the death sentences to various offenders increased to 22 only in case of Madhya Pradesh. And among these 22 cases, 7 sentences were in case concerning to sexual assault or sexual harassment of girls below the age of 12 years. So here we will see that this does not involve murder. So we have seen that Parliament had already expanded the scope of death sentences in order to include non-homicide crimes which does not involve murder. So out of the 22 cases where death sentences were awarded in Madhya Pradesh, 7 cases did not involve murder. It was purely related to sexual harassment of children or sexual assault of children below the age of 12 years. Now, if we compare the case study of Madhya Pradesh with that of 2017, the number of death sentences awarded by various trial courts in the state of Madhya Pradesh in 2017 were only 6. So, from 6 it has increased to 22 in the year 2018. Now also, the Madhya Pradesh state government has introduced a reward scheme for public prosecutors who seek the death penalty. And accordingly, various points will be awarded to the public prosecutor, and if a public prosecutor earns more than 2000 points on certain parameters, the public prosecutor will be awarded with Best Prosecutor of the Month award or Pride of Prosecution award, etc. So the public prosecutors are also awarded in order to seek death penalty. Now let us understand what is a judicial approach in case of death penalty. So going back to 1980, that is the Bachchan Singh case, the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutionality of capital punishment. So in Bachchan Singh case, Supreme Court held that capital punishment is constitutionally valid. But since then, that is since 1980, there have been certain or various demands from various stakeholders for the re-examination of the need for death penalty. So we have also discussed about the need for a death penalty. So please find the video which I have prepared on the need for death penalty or whether death penalty is needed or not. You can find it on StudyIQ channel. So you will get more points regarding the rationale or need for death penalty and what are the criticisms against it and what is the conclusion. All that I have discussed in that video. So please find it on StudyIQ channel. Now coming back to our topic. So since 1980, when Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of death penalty, various stakeholders have been demanding for the re-examination of the need for a death penalty. And also the Supreme Court has held that the review petitions in death sentences will be mandatorily heard in an open court. And also the Supreme Court has recognized the right of death row prisoners for meeting the mental health professionals at a reasonable frequency and for reasonable lengths of time. So all these were recognized by the Supreme Court. So we will find that the Supreme Court these days is taking a lenient view with regard to death sentences. Now coming to the government stance on death penalties, we will see that there is an enthusiasm in the government for legislative expansion of capital punishment. So this is in contrast to the Supreme Court's approach. Supreme Court is trying to bring down the number of death penalties or capital punishment. But government on the other hand, it is trying to expand the scope of death penalties. We have already seen that the IPC has been amended. Also the scope of death penalty has been increased in order to include non-murder cases also. Also, the POCSO Act was amended. So, under this amendment, death penalty for penetrative aggravated sexual assault on children below the age of 18 was introduced. And we will see that in August 2018, the government has introduced a bill in the parliament which provides for death penalty or life imprisonment for crimes involving piracy at sea. And also India has voted against the UN General Assembly's draft resolution proposing a ban on the death penalty. So in the international fora also India has been opposing the ban on death penalty. So it is a clear indication that the government is against or in contrary to the views of the Supreme Court with regard to death penalty. Now what is the conclusion or what has to be done according to the report? So the report calls for a close examination of the circumstances of the convicted individual. So what is the status or what were the circumstances under which the crime has been committed by the individual. And also the report calls for providing assistance to the convicts in the form of mental health assistance. So it should also include legal support to the convicts. So this can help them to face the trial in a better manner. So these are the conclusion or concluding remarks provided by the report. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page, and for any queries regarding your UPSC preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page or you can email me at joyce.studyIQ@gmail.com. Thank you.